3 years already. Crazy. You know, when I started this channel, I wasn't even sure I'd be doing it for 3 months, but here we are. So I don't really know what I want to say. I didn't exactly have anything prepared to say. But I am late on making an anniversary video. I said I would try and make one every year. At least I think I did. Well, here I am. But I didn't really have anything prepared to say, and I'm a bit late, so I knew I had to make one eventually. So here I am. I am making this, and we're currently about to hit 10K, so that's pretty exciting. It has taken me quite a while, I think, to hit 10K. I'm fine with that, though. I think a lot of times people get caught up on the numbers too much, and that ends up kind of taking priority over what it is that you're trying to make. So, and beyond that, I'm not sure I'd be able to handle if I suddenly got like hundreds of thousands of people following me. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So I think this is fine. I much prefer slow growth, but either way, whether it's 1K, 10K, whatever, thank you guys very much for watching and for being a part of this. It means a lot. So I've already talked a bit about the projects that I want to do. I made a post about them. So there are other projects that I'm working on beyond all of that, but I don't want to talk too much about them. Because the last time I did that, I promised there would be a Hollow Knight video last fall, and it didn't come out until this year in the summer. So I probably shouldn't say anything right now. But if you saw the posts, you know there's a couple big things that I'm working on. So those will come out when they come out. I will say going forward, and maybe this is something that I've talked about before, maybe I haven't. My memory is absolutely terrible. But when it comes to covering different games, I want to make sure from now on that what I cover is the original translation of the game. I think one challenge that I constantly run into is the fact that a lot of games aren't really translated properly. And I think if you're just like a Let's Player or obviously some type of like gaming content channel that does like just regular gameplay stuff, it doesn't really matter. But for someone like me, that does matter a lot. And I've said this before, but it increases the workload quite a bit because of the types of videos that I make. They're very time consuming, as you saw with the Hollow Knight video. Very time consuming. So if things aren't translated properly, like with Fire Emblem or whatever series it might be, that makes things a lot more complicated for me, because I need to make sure that what I present is the original story, what it's supposed to be, what the artist's original intention was. So I am frustrated that it seems like a lot of games these days just aren't translated properly. Sometimes it's smaller changes, and maybe it's not that big of a deal. Even then, though, I do care about that because I want to make sure that I'm getting what the artist originally intended to the fullest extent. But some of them are just... There have been some games that I've purposefully not covered because almost the entire script for the game is completely changed, which is very frustrating. So all of this to say, when I go into certain franchises, because I made this mistake with Kirby, and I think I have talked about this, maybe it was a last year's video, I don't know. But when I had originally covered Void Termina's lore, and some other lore for Kirby, I'd gotten some things wrong without knowing, because, you know, you go into... I think I did talk about this, actually. Repeating myself here. So I guess not much has changed then. But that is something that I'll need to stick to if it's something that I've said already. And make sure that what I cover is indeed the original translation. And make sure that, you know, it's what the artist intended, so I can actually deliver what the actual story is supposed to be. Sometimes it can be hard to tell. And you're kind of... I mean, I don't understand Japanese, so a lot of the times, too, you're kind of trapped If there's no fan translation, you're kind of screwed. So we'll see what happens. There is one game that I'm going to be covering soon, hopefully. Hope to the Lord I can, because there's so many things I'm working on. But the first game in that series is... apparently the translation is very terrible. And for the second game. So, I have to play through them, but then I'm also going to have to, like, cross-reference and find some sort of translation or some notes, at least, online somewhere, to make sure that what I understood from the game itself is actually correct. I just wish it wasn't like this, because it makes the process so much longer. I can't just play through the game and then, you know, tell you guys what the story is. I mean, I do research on my own afterwards anyway, just to make sure I have the lore and the story understood. But then this just adds another layer onto it, where I have to do even more research to see if the lore that I do understand is even correct, if it was translated improperly. So that's probably one of the most annoying things about the process, I would say, when it comes to making these videos. It's just making sure that everything is actually correct. But I shouldn't be complaining in an anniversary video. This is supposed to be like a celebration, right? Woo, 10K! My mouth tracking isn't even working right. But I guess I don't really have much to say beyond that. There's a lot of big projects that I'm working on. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. I'm very grateful to you guys for even making it 10K. That's really big for me. So thank you very much. God bless. Thank you. And there's a lot more to come. Hopefully. We'll see. There's plenty of things that I'm working on the side. And while I've only released 2 long-form videos this year so far, which is kind of rare because I think last year and the year before I did release a lot of bigger videos, but I think a lot of them were really short too, so maybe not even. But the trade-off there is I'm trying to make sure that the quality of the videos is better. I'm fine with not releasing long-form videos as often, as long as I can make sure that the quality is good. I want this channel to be not something that's just kind of, you know, like a firework in the night where it's like very pretty, but it kind of, you know, ends just as it ends just as fast as it is pretty. I want it to be something that people can come back in the future, and the videos can hopefully present the story of these games in a way that even years from now people can come back and watch it and still enjoy it. So I could try and follow trends and release as many videos as possible, but that's not what I'm trying to do. That being said, you know, I do release shorts, and it's kind of a middle ground for me where I get to kind of just have fun creating with shorts, and just because the process itself is fun. It does have its difficulties, as I was just saying before, but it's a fun process. So I kind of just get to have a field day with shorts and just kind of cover whatever is on my mind, whatever series, and just kind of go hog wild with it. And then the long form videos are the ones that I really just kind of buckle down and take my time with. And not that I don't put a lot of effort into the shorts. Trust me, I do. I just put like 40 hours into relearning the Unist lore, so trust me, I do. I do put a lot of time into that as well, but I mean, I guess that just goes to show just how much time is put into the long form videos. I think combined I probably spent over 1,000 hours, even more than that, like 1,500 hours on Hollow Knight, on the Hollow Knight video. So but the shorts are just kind of videos that I can kind of take it easier with and just have fun with it, and just have fun creating, and still covering lore and story stuff, but I can kind of take it easier and just, you know, make fun little scenarios or quips and have fun covering different series that I like. And then I'm going around in circles. But the long form ones, they take longer to come out. And they're the ones that I really just kind of put everything into. So less of those. But at least I hope and I pray that when they do come out, they're really good. So yeah. Don't really have a lot to say. I guess maybe no news is good news. I guess. I wish I could kind of drum up something and just kind of waffle about whatever, which I guess I kind of did about the translation thing, but I think I talked about that last year too. Not too much to say. Thank you guys for 10K, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the Unist videos. Obviously, I do have a life outside of all this stuff. I do have work, so I can't spend quite as much time as I would like working on this stuff. That being said, I do work on it a lot more than I suppose I would care to admit. A lot of time goes into this, but another factor too as to why I'm not really able to put it out as much as I'd like, as is the case with many people, I think, is, you know, obviously there's life outside of this that happens, and it kind of just is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope and I pray that this can continue for another year, and we'll see what happens. More big stuff to come.